Hey y'all, hey, now this may be a concept that is not familiar to many young people, but for my seasoned folks, have you ever considered why, then the days of old, that when a woman was dating a young man or a young man wanted to date the woman, that he would have to sit in the company of the men in her family, and vice versa, when a young man wanted to date a woman, he would bring the young woman so she could basically be inspected by the women in his family. Well, because game recognizes game, because men will be able to see pretty short order what the caliber of man that you were, and vice versa. And the women will be able to recognize the caliber of young woman you were, whether or not that you would be good for that male family member. And here's the reason why. This right here. Now, inasmuch as I have not seen the entire interview, there was a part of it that really hit home for me. And it reminded me of a personal account that I'm going to share after we listen to this.
You alleged too that Nicole Murphy had relations with your ex-husband. Were you two friends?
Mm-hmm. Birthday parties. I've been to her house. She was at my bachelorette party. But you know what? At that time, my mother told me then. She said, but you got to watch that one there. And I was like, who? I said, the one dancing. She said, yes, that's Eddie Murphy's wife. She said, you got to watch that one.
Current wife at the time or ex at the time?
I want to say I think she was still married. They were still married. And I was like, no. And so, when your mom tell you something about new school, you feel like you old school, And she was right.
How did you find that out?
I had checked the manifest of my plane because we owned a plane. And so when you check that list, it says all the people that have rode on the plane. And she didn't ride on it with me, and nor did she receive an invitation from me. So if you had a girlfriend that has her own island, I would think that you would call and say, hey, girl, I'm coming, because I was getting everybody to come. So why you would accept an invitation from him and you don't even know him is unbeknownst to me. I don't know how that could happen. Do you? I guess not.
I never owned a private plane or
not that part.
I don't know, but the meaning. Yes, this is too rich for me. The manifest of the list, like damn. So you saw her name on the list,
and I tried to call her, and at first she said, "No, I haven't been to Turks and Caicos. I have not been." And it was like, "Well, wait a minute," And then I called again, and then she stopped answering the phone. So at the time, she was dating. At this time,
Michael
when
Strahan?
I found out, she was dating Michael Strahan. So I called him, and I said, "Hey, do you know anything about this?" And we talked or whatever, and I said, "Well, let me send you a tape that I have of proof." And so I did.
What tape? What was on the tape?
It was a tape of her and Michael where she was dropping Michael off at the private airport in her car. And they opened the gate and they pulled up to the plane, and she gets out and he gets out. And I go, oh, I didn't know y'all knew each other. And I'm going to leave it right there because that part is my business. The other part is someone else's business, which I've never, would speak on. But for me, that was enough. It was like, wow, I'm going to whoop your ass.
Me too. Me too. Lisa, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to laugh.
No.
I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry. My bad.
That's just how much I was just like, what, bitch? You don't do that. Friends don't do that now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's something that I would think an enemy would do, or somebody that I just don't know. But someone that you have to watch your girl.
Now, the reason why I thought this story was so poignant is because, again, y'all young women think that we older women don't know anything, and we were no different than you when we were your age. And I remember that there are two women specifically early on in my life. My mom told me to either watch them or they were not my friends. The first one, I was in high school. She was my quote-unquote best friend. I thought she was the greatest thing, and my mother told me then, she is not your friend. You are her friend, but she is not your friend. I did not understand or come to appreciate that, and it did not come full circle until I went to college. And she proved what my mother had seen from the onset. Now, another one was when I was in college. My girl, I'm not going to repeat her name, but if she's listening, she know who she was my girl then. And I remember my mom said, T, she a little bit too sexy for her own self. Now, it wasn't that she dressed provocatively or scantily, but she was you can tell someone is very sensual, very confident, and she had a sex appeal about her, very alluring. And I remember my mom, and at this time I was in a relationship, the first real love of my life. And my mother kept saying, you need to watch her. You need to watch her. And like LisaRaye, I'm like, Mommy, she's not like that. She's cool. That's my girl, blah, blah, blah. And as fate would have it, and I've shared this story before, as fate would have it, me and the love of my life at that time, we broke up. And it was years later. By this time, he was married to someone else. And we just kind of, talked on the friend cordial tip. And he said, I never told you this, but you remember so-and-so. I said, yeah. He said, well, she tried to, link up with me a couple of times. I said, what? He said, yeah. I'm feeling like LisaRaye because, see, I thought back to what my mom told me. My mom told me, and see, again, goes back to what I said. Game, recognize game. Men can recognize the game from other men. Women can recognize the game from other women. Why? Because we think like that, or we've either done it or experienced some stuff like that. And she is a very beautiful woman. But that is some skank, ratchet, get your ass whooped kind of stuff right there. And then if my memory serves me correctly, Miss Murphy was also accused, allegedly, of having an affair with Layla Rashawn's husband. Child. See, that goes to show you. You can be beautiful on the outside and be just as nasty as you want to be on the inside. Those are my thoughts. What are yours? Take that with you.